Hey friends, Mario here. We are live and we are in the Beijing taxi on the way to the capital airport, Beijing Capital Airport Terminal 2. Perfect time. I've got, 25 minutes still to give you guys an amazing update on what's happening here in China and related matters. So welcome to another Mr. Ma's China Adventures live stream update here on StreamYard. And it's not perfect audio and video situation, but I know you can hear me pretty clearly and you can see me pretty clearly here, so everything's cool, right? So I hope everybody's doing well, being wise, being safe. And so I got interesting things to talk to you about. I was watching a very important update about Jake Sullivan's recent interview with Jeb Zachariah and his new comments, his new softer comments, this U.S. softer position on China. It's their acknowledgement of reality. We played hardball with you and we failed miserably. So now we are saying that we don't want to continue anymore. But in fact, they do, right? Of course. So this is terrific news. This is terrific news. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean the rivalry's over. That's certainly not the case. And I'm going to be smart enough to realize I need to move my hand. Yeah, I moved my hand. So Jake Sullivan said something along the lines of, we know now that, it's not our role to change China's system. And we actually made a mistake in trying to change China's system. Yeah, well, yeah, you did. Trying to impose your will on others doesn't work well, even in relationships. Not letting other people be who they are and trying to impose yourself on other people is a bad idea in all kinds of ways. So this applies at the sovereign level as well, and China would have none of this shit. Thank God, thankfully. So when the United States says it represents American interests, of course, what it means is the interests of American elites, not Americans, American elites. Our ability to have power and control over the entire planet. We take Japan as an example. Do you realize that that tiny island became a world superpower? And what was the response? What was the world's response to Japan becoming a world superpower economically back in the 70s and 80s, etc.? What was America clamping down on it? And America already had its military presence there. So I want you to think about this for a second. America has a military presence, troops, in all over Japan. Japan is a vassal state of the United States. When Japan's Toshiba rose up, America, they crushed it. They crushed it. Okay. So after the World War II and the Korean War, et cetera, they got troops in Japan. So Japan is obviously a puppet of the United States. But think about this for a second. Troops in Japan, troops in Philippines, troops in Syria, troops here, troops there, troops everywhere, troops here, troops there, troops everywhere. Think about this for a second. Could you imagine a world, even going back 20 years, let's go back to 20 years to the year 2000, 21 years, to the year 1999, 22 years, when I first came to China, and I went to Chengdu. There was a Chengdu consulate. I started doing some work with them, which was very nice, going around doing some seminars about China entering the WTO in 2000, which was the big deal back then. And so this was my initiation into American engagement with China, the Chengdu consulate, and doing these seminars back then when it was a lot less divisive. And so imagine even this 22 years ago, when back then still, as an American who arrived in China, I didn't know anything about China. Okay, but think for a second with me. The idea that there would be American troops, U.S. troops, stationed where? In China. Think about that for a second. Or military troops, U.S. troops stationed in Hong Kong, or U.S. troops stationed in mainland China. That hit me this morning as I was pondering. You see how crazy unlikely that is? Imagine tomorrow you know, as everyone knows, President Xi and President Biden had another one of their conversations, and as many of you know, their relationship goes back a long, long time, and they just announced that the United States will station 1,500 troops in a base in Hongqiao in Shanghai. Strategically, the countries agreed this is a good idea. Jesus, I'm making myself laugh too much. Do you see what I mean? This is just impossible, okay? And finally, the United States is figuring out, and I'm hoping, we're all hoping that what Jake Sullivan's comments show us are that means that the United States also knows that going to war with China is lunacy. And that would only happen if the United States started a war, because as we all know, China does not start wars. Okay? China has risen up to become the largest. You could say they're the second largest. Okay, fine, but they're far more influential and important now, because the rising country is the more influential and important one. So that's what's going on, folks. One more last thing about the driver, because I'm just arriving here at the airport. This is a Beijing car, Beijing taxi. It's beautiful. I don't have time to show you. This is a beautiful taxi. It really is. And it's Beijing brand. And this taxi, the driver complained. He said, all taxis in Beijing now, 90%, soon to be all, are e-cars, e-taxis. And as e-taxis, I said, how do you like it? Because it's a nice car. It's quiet. It's nice. It's quality seems very good, very smooth just now. And he said, oh, no good, because it only charges supposedly 350 kilometers per charge. He said, but in reality, it only goes about 260, 270. And I said, oh, so that's a hassle. And he said, yes, exactly, that's a hassle. So he has to charge it. I said, how often do you have to charge it? Every couple of days? He says, no, every single day. So that also tells you how busy Beijing electric car taxis are. That's it for this live update. Catch you later, folks. I'm on my way to Hainan Island, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Okay.